Welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. We're a podcast that talks about everything entrepreneur, business, sales, marketing, mindset, and personal growth. I'm Deborah, your host. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited about today's guest. She is an email marketing expert. You guys know that I have been learning all about that. And for us business to business entrepreneurs, email is a very effective way of reaching those business clients that we need and is often a much better way of reaching them than social media. So let's jump in and talk about today's guest. Her name is MV Braverman, and she is the founder of Inbox Welcome, where email marketing becomes your best relationship building tool. She helps businesses keep emails out of spam, save time with smart automations, and connect with their audience. Known for her clear, approachable style, MV also works with select clients to untangle tech spaghetti, simplifying systems so everything runs seamlessly. And Lord, do we need that kind of help? What actually does run seamlessly these days? Everyone, please welcome MV to Deals with Heels.
Thanks
Welcome
for
to the
having me.
show. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Before we get into all the great email stuff, tell us just a little bit about your background and how you got to be such an email expert.
I've been a techie like my whole life, from dial-up noises. Yes, I have done that. And so I've been in tech support and system administration, so really behind the scenes as well as customer facing. And when I had kids, I don't know how actual parents manage the whole thing without support, but I couldn't do it. So I decided to start my own business. And originally I was like WordPress support, all kinds of other behind the scenes things. Honestly, tech support is still my first love. But a couple of years ago, a new client came to me. So I was offering Google Workspace services. I'm a certified workspace administrator, and I really love the product. But she came to me, say, like, she was a speaker and would go to conferences, would get asked by these large corporate people, like, send us a proposal, and then never hear from them. She's like, can you help me figure this out? So I went down the whole, like, what is it that actually makes an email gets seen by the intended recipient? And there is a lot going on when it comes to deliverability that we don't see or think about. So
I believe that with marketing, I mean, you can talk about subject lines and all of the marketing and copy points, but there's obviously other things that are involved, or everyone's would be in their primary inbox, and they're just not. I've had a lot of very experienced businesses that have experienced marketing people, and all of their stuff goes to spam. And so there are tricks to doing it, which is why we love having you on the show. I definitely want to talk a little bit about, you talk about that there are some essential steps in getting our emails seen and keeping them out of spam. What are those essential steps?
Well, first, these are not like tricks or secrets. These are best practices. And in October of 2023, Google and Yahoo said, we gave you the carrot before, but now it's a stick. You have to do these things to get into the inbox. And it's more of a price of admission. It's not really a reward. So the three big things are, and how they say it, and I think is a good way to encapsulate it, is authenticate your emails. So there's a technical side to it, but there's also, like, basically you have to prove you are who you say you are. Don't try to pretend to be someone else. Don't try to rely on your email marketing platform. Like, you have to stand on your own 2 feet. And the more psychological side to it is, don't keep changing your from name. Don't keep changing your display name. and don't make me guess. Like, if your from name says Amanda, like, I don't know who you are. Make it clear who you are so I recognize it.
Some people, and that's part of the way you get scammed, right? Is you can make that display anything you want, but the real email address may not be from Walmart or Chase or whoever, and that's what really matters. So if you change your display name, That matters on deliverability.
It's not even necessarily that Google or Yahoo care, but your recipients care. If they don't recognize it, they're not going to open it. And if they don't open it, then you will get penalized later on because,
Oh,
again,
because
Google and Yahoo, all of those people, all those mailbox writers have thousands of data points. They know when you open the email, they know how long you spent reading it, they know if you replied to it, they know if you deleted it unseen when you
I
went
mean,
on your unsubscribe frenzy.
I mean, I do see, we see stats when you look at your email campaign and it tells you, how many of them bounced and how many of them got opened and how many people replied and all the things. And I think that most business owners feel kind of like they're just a victim of whatever happened rather than how do I fix this? It seems daunting. So, one is authenticate your emails, and there's a process that
Yeah.
people can learn how to do that. What else?
So the next is send emails that people want. you know, if they
Yeah,
say yes, then send it to them. If they didn't say yes, don't send it to them. Now there's room for B2B, like there's room to for me to send you an email maybe asking to be on a podcast or something else. It's rather when you send the cold email at scale that it becomes spam, in my opinion. It's totally okay for me to reach out to a podcast I'm interested on guesting on, or even someone I'm interested in collaborating with, or something like that.
I mean, I like to send, here's a great example. I have a client, they own a tree service company, and we recently did an email campaign to their list, and we actually did it as a graphic, but it was a graphic of a letter. It's a unique thing. You see them in your mailbox. It looks like someone hand wrote you a part of the letter and
Hmm.
like with an ink, looks like they signed their name. Like maybe they did this estimate while they were standing out there. Anderson Windows does it nationwide, but lots of other different tradespeople industries do it as well. And my tree client had been doing it via direct mail some, but with a direct mail service, and they never really could pin down how many were really being sent. And it wasn't that it was ineffective, it was as effective at pretty effective for direct mail. But I made a graphic of the letter, and that was clickable. And but we sent that just, hey, our big trucks are going to be in your area, and so now's a great time to save because we're going to be out there anyway, blah, 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 blah. And they had fantastic results from it. Now they're sending it to
Interesting.
their list. We didn't buy a list. They're people that have either done business with them before or at least have gotten an estimate from them before
Mm-hmm.
because they're in their specific system. So it is kind of a friendly thing, but they really only send an email maybe once a month. And they send it, and I always recommend stagger send. I don't care if you're sending 10 an hour and you're sending them every single hour for the 24-hour period for how many days till it's sent. Just don't blast it to your whole list because that is the very definition of spam. Eventually the system will get used to you sending,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you won't. So that's what, in my experience, it is somewhat effective. If I'm going to be, even if I'm only sending it to 500 people, I'm still going to send that in small batches that I automate through the email platform so that it doesn't hit spam. But
Yeah, you definitely want to be predictable in in these ways. If you're suddenly sending a whole bunch, this is why Black Friday is such a dangerous time.
right, yeah, it definitely, there are best practices. I don't like to call them tricks either because that assumes that it doesn't always work that way. We have to trick it. And it's not a trick. It always works this way if you do it that way. So we've got those. What else?
And then the third one is make it easy to unsubscribe. So there's a technical thing behind it that your email marketing platform had to implement. And let me tell you, they scrambled a lot because it was a very short timeline. But I have been on so many email lists where they like make the unsubscribe link like 6-point font and light gray on white. Like,
And
no, if
50
you make it
steps,
hard for if
50
you make it
steps to
hard,
get to it.
oh, yeah, if you make it hard for me to say I don't want this. I'm going to, and everyone else is going to just mark it as spam because that's going to be a heck of a lot easier. And, 10 unsubscribes are not nearly as bad in Google's and Yahoo's eyes as one spam complaint. Those
Oh,
aren't exact
yeah.
numbers, but let me just say that a spam complaint dings you a whole bunch. An unsubscribe is normal unless there's a lot of them.
Okay, that makes sense. And I will tell you that, man, that unsubscribe button right there at the top where I don't have to scroll to find it, I do
Mm-hmm.
love that because, to get that discount, you subscribe. And then if they're responsible and they don't send me a daily email,
Or five
then
times daily.
5 times daily. I know, and I had someone I was consulting with, and they were talking about they were sending 1 email a month that had a ton of stuff in it, but their stuff isn't getting used, and they're not even selling it. A huge portion of it's just free that people
Hmm.
aren't utilizing the stuff, which means the value isn't there for the organization. And I was like, "But it's so jumbled in there. Why are you sending it all in one email?" Because people don't want to get all that in their okay, all that isn't 1 a week. All that is, I was a guest on a podcast and I'm on their list, and now I'm getting 4 emails from them a day about their coaching platform and their next guests and last week's guests. And that,
Yeah.
that is what we want to avoid. And of course, I don't want to report them as spam because I liked them. I was on their podcast, but for the love of God, no
Ask
one wants that many.
permission.
No one wants that many. So I think there's this negative context, rightfully so, because no one wants that much, but there's a knee-jerk reaction to where now they're scared to even do responsible emailing. So, yes, it's annoying to get blasted, but I don't know about you, I don't mind 1 a week. And a week isn't bad from something that is something I'm interested in.
And some emails are just that valuable that a daily one would is good.
Yeah,
It depends. It has to be a match between the subscriber and the service that they offer, right?
right.
Like
And or
maybe I want my daily horoscope, and the other person's like, no, what is this nonsense? So again,
yeah,
match that, meet them where they are, give them what they want, and then you'll have the opportunity to meet your business needs. Otherwise, like there's no relationship before.
right. And that's the whole key. It's the key with all of marketing is building relationships with potential buyers, with readers. So their eyeballs are
Mm-hmm.
on your emails when you do send a sales message, which is not in every single email. Do not blast offers at everybody. No, 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 no. You got to send some other stuff that's interesting, especially for business to business. If you're sending valuable business information, valuable reminders for whatever. If you're a CPA, reminding to do their quarterlies, even if they're not your customer, that's valuable for entrepreneurs are busy and none of a huge portion of us aren't bookkeepers or accountants. So they forget to do stuff. Those are good things to send. And even though it's not selling, it's building confidence so that oh, yeah, I like them. They remind me of my stuff that I forget.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a good thing. It's not always a sales message. And sometimes a newsletter is a good thing if it's got good stuff in it. If it's the lunch menu and crap that none of us care about, then it's not valuable. So having that valuable content is important, right? I
Absolutely.
think I think one of the things that people don't understand is sender reputation. And that
Mm-hmm.
is when you get designated kind of as spam. And there's ways to check on yours. There's some websites and things that you can check to see if you're if your stuff's going to spam. Can't you?
Kind of. I'll
Kind
give
of.
you a
It's not that
nuanced answer.
reliable.
So first, I like the term sender reputation. People get confused by it. It's basically your email domain reputation, and there
Hmm.
isn't just one reputation. You have a reputation with each mailbox provider. So if you ever notice, okay, I'm having a problem with my open rates. Sometimes you break it down and like, oh, it's just Google. It's just Microsoft. So really you have a reputation with each mailbox provider. And there's also a more global reputation. So there are block lists, and there's hundreds of them. Anyone can start a block list. I can start one tomorrow. Some of them are more important than others. So if you go on a block list checker and find that you're on, a one or two, it may or may not be time to panic. The most important one is called Spam House. And like if you're on that one, there are very clear and immediate consequences. So when I had set up my new domain when I was rebranding, I didn't realize it, but I ended up on Spam House list. No, I got out like 2 days later.
Can
But
you get out? So that was my question.
oh
Can
yeah,
you get out, or do
absolutely.
you just have to build a
Yes.
whole new
But
domain and say screw it?
I'll tell you the unexpected consequence.
Okay.
I posted on LinkedIn and I added a link to my website. And when I test to click it, it said this is a malicious link. They labeled it as malicious because my domain was as Pam House. That is not an
Okay.
obvious consequence.
No, but
So
I have had that happen. Not to
one
me,
thing
but
is
to a
really
client.
important to know is like, it's not how many links you sent, it's where do they go to. If you're sending them to a spammy or ill-reputed website, that affects your email deliverability.
So
So
if
anyway,
I
yes.
send a, oh, if a link, so if I send an email and it has a link to a website, it's not my website, it's a third party website, but that
Yes.
website's spammy
Mm-hmm.
somehow. It's got a bad reputation. Now I'm lumped
Yes.
in. It's like your five friends,
Exactly.
you're like the five people you hang out with. Your emails
Mm-hmm.
don't, it is too.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So those,
So,
because people are like, let's do links, backlinks to it, because those are
mm-hmm.
important for website and but you pick your friends wisely.
Exactly. Yes. Very
So you,
important.
okay. And, I do that all the time for promoting guests stuff. We link to their stuff, and I don't ever check to see if they're on Spam House, and you were, so anybody could be.
Now,
I mean, let's
yes,
face
I
it.
did get out very quickly. So it
So
was
how do you get out?
because it was a new domain. Basically, the
Okay.
first 30 days of a brand new domain, like they really regard you very suspiciously because that's a spammer tactic, right? You
Right. And
basically
they're
just want to
like,
not look like a spammer. So,
are they
yes, I
starting out
proved to them,
slow?
yes,
That
I
you
proved to
were who
them that
you,
I was okay and that I was a respectful sender. So that went away quickly. But
so are they
you had to
really?
know to begin with,
Yes.
and we
So
don't
are
know.
they mostly looking for like bots and scammers or just all, if you're spamming sales stuff, that counts too. If you get reported as spam, what else can get you put on Spam House?
There's lots of reasons they don't necessarily disclose all of them. They
I'm
will
sure
tell
they
you,
don't.
at least they'll at least give you a general reasoning behind why your domain might be, and then you have to go appeal and explain, here's why this was a mistake, or here's how I've fixed it.
Right. In
Like,
my experience, for example, if someone gets their Instagram page taken down because of copyright infringement, for example, and I had a client that happened to, and they went to the World Trade Center market in Dallas and bought all of their stuff. It's not their responsibility to vet if the stuff is licensed. That's the World Trade Center's responsibility. If I bought something, it's not like they bought it from some dude out of a van. They went to a legitimate market, the World Trade Center market, and purchased it. And it wasn't even really expensive stuff, but they thought it was real because of where they bought it. And so when their page was gone, and this was a young woman in a retail store, she used Instagram more than anything else. And so it was devastating that it was gone. So in her mind, I'm not infringing any copyright. And she hit appeal without making any adjustments to fix the problem.
mm,
Just right. And I think that that's a really emotional response to take. And you have to be careful because you appealed it and didn't do anything. You can't
yeah.
explain. Typically, you can't explain. The only explanation is I made changes. So, had she removed those items or spoke to them and tried to figure out what the items were, and they did figure out what the items were, but they were so caught up in them being for sale on other pages and all of that, that they didn't consider that they should remove them or remove
Hmm.
them, like even just photos of them. They weren't even selling them. They just had photos of them in their store. So anyway, once they hit that appeal button, I couldn't fix it. I couldn't fix it. So
Well, that is one of the reasons why people say, you got to have an email list. Because yes, Facebook Meta has a bad day. They can just like take your account
they
away.
can,
With your email list, you can
and for
start
people,
over, but
and you may
yeah.
not have to. So the moral of the story is if you find that you're on Spam House or one of the others, your stuff's going to spam, figure out why it's going there and make adjustments before you appeal it. Because it's like if you're in court, you can't just say, I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I do sales coaching and sales training, repeating yourself in a louder voice is not a good response to come back with. And a lot of people, they just re-say what they were going to say louder. And okay, I heard you. I'm just not motivated to buy. And so it's easy to have that emotional response, but it's important to be smart about it.
Yeah. And
And
don't do the don't you know who I am kind of thing. Because sometimes
because
people
they
do like,
don't,
yeah, exactly.
likely it was AI that caught it, right? There's not
It's
a
their secret
person
sauce they
going,
don't tell you.
right. Well, there's not a person going, that Deborah, I'm getting her.
Exactly.
I
No.
got caught in a filter,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
whatever caught in that filter, I need to figure out and change.
Exactly.
Okay. So you hear a lot about things like what you put in your subject line can make it go to spam. I have not found that to be true. Now, I do think that it can affect whether or not it gets opened. The
Mm-hmm.
100% it controls whether or not they open your email or read it, but because what you put in there is what it is. I'm going to look at that and go, nope, nope, nope. Is this important or not important? So,
Yep. You are 100% correct. There
okay,
is like the advice of, don't put free in all caps or whatever it is like 20 years ago, spam filters. These
okay,
days, it's if your recipient expects it and opens it, you're good.
okay.
If
Now,
it looks like what spammers do, or if they don't open it, then you're not so good.
I mean, and it goes all together, right? So if I'm putting free or something real spammy sounding in my subject line and a ton of people are unsubscribing and no one's opening it or reading it, then all of those things can go together to make it go to
Right.
spam. So
But
it's
it wasn't just having that word.
in your subject
It
line,
was
it's other things
the
too.
filter of the humans who didn't want it.
Right. Okay. So you're giving away something free that's good. Don't hesitate because people really want it. They'll open it and you won't get labeled as spam. But if you got some stuff that's kind of jicky and you're just throwing spaghetti out there
Exactly.
and your audience isn't targeted, so it
Yeah.
could be to anybody. And I'm sending free diapers to a ton of people that a lot of people don't need or want, then yeah, okay,
And the
that
other
makes
thing
sense.
is, for subject lines, make them mobile friendly, make them short. If you have a
Oh.
novel in your subject line and I'm reading it on my phone, chances are I'm not going to look at it.
So how deep into the body of an email do people normally read? Do they stop at the subject line? Is it that's the real determination on if they open? Or do
We
you
don't
get like
know.
the first sentence, right? That's into the market research. I
Yeah,
know a lot of content creators get very elaborate with their copy. I'm an old school marketing girl and clear, concise, so I know what the hell you're talking about is the best. Because if somebody opens it and then they're pissed because what the hell is this and why
exactly.
am I getting it? Now you have a chance of getting reported because, but if it's clear what it
Yep.
is and they're just not interested in it right now,
Yeah.
then, and if it's clear what it is and they search for you later, it'll show
Yeah.
up.
And the other thing these days is we're getting more and more AI summarizers. If you're trying to be clever, your email is not going to get summarized what you think you said. It's going to be something completely different because you were trying to be clever or clickbaity or work around. So
Right.
you have to please both actual humans and AI tools. And the best way to do it is by being clear and concise.
Okay. I like that because it really fits in with overall market strategy, which is be clear with your message and quick, because you just got a little bit of time to get them interested because it's so fast. Everything's
Yeah.
scrolling by so fast. So what about sending video in marketing? I mean, in email?
My short advice is don't, because most clients don't support it. So the common workaround is, you insert a GIF, and that leads them to an actual video, because the
Okay.
vast majority of email clients do not support videos.
Because it's the size of the file and it
Well,
doesn't
you're
have a
not even
video
attaching it. It's just,
player.
yeah, there's no way to play
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I know we're running close on your schedule and
it.
getting close to the end. So tell us how people can find out more about you and the services that you offer.
Well, I am very active on LinkedIn, which is, yes, the B2B platform. So please connect with me, and my website, inboxwelcome.com. And yes, I do reply to emails, so please reach out to me by email.
But don't
mb
send
at
her a bunch of spam.
inboxwelcome.com. That's right. Don't add me to your list, please.
Okay.
I want to hear real emails.
Real stuff, real relationships. And I think it's fine to
Exactly.
add her to your list. Don't send her in a big group of stuff. If you want her on your list and you can go in and select and send from there from your CRM, I think that's fine if you like to manage everything from that one spot. But blanketing out emails is, you got to be cautious about what you're doing with that. And I will link to her MV's LinkedIn and her email and website in the show notes, and you can find out all about her stuff there. And you can link to our website, dealswithheels.com, my agency website, hexagonmedia.net, where you can download my free ebook, 5 Steps to a Mindset for Success. From those platforms for me, please like, share, subscribe to Deals with Heels. We really appreciate all of your support. And thank you so much, MV, for giving us all of your knowledge. And I learned, we chatted before we went on the air, and I learned stuff from her already. So I'm excited to go in and get some tips directly from her too. I hope you guys will also. Do you have any final tips for the audience?
The 3 rules,
Authenticate your
authenticate your
email.
emails, send emails people want, and make it easy to unsubscribe. Those will get you far.
Awesome. I have never had those 3 before, all grouped together. And what great tips. You guys, please check out MV's stuff. And until next time, we're out.
Thank you.